AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Kendall Rogers in 15 minutes. We'll talk some Ole Miss baseball with Chase Parham next hour. Plenty of reaction to our Verge Ausberry interview from a day ago. We'll dive into some of that. But let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Football Tigers were back out on the practice field Thursday morning. Media had our customary 25 minutes or so, 5 periods. If you've been with us throughout all these updates, this shouldn't be a surprise. So we go out there and we get an 11-on-11 period, which when Jakeem Jackson was in studio with us last week, he said they call it the quick 6, where they run 6 plays. Well, today they ran more than 6 plays. So I'll go through that play-by-play here in just a quick second, tell you what we saw. And then they do the 4 individual periods. A few notables as far as personnel. Bo Bordelon was at left guard again. So that's a change that we saw where that had been Devin Harper. The first couple of weeks of spring had been Harper at left guard. Bo Bordelon now 2 days in a row, first team at left guard. Deuce Geralds was absent today. He had been, no reason given for the absence, but he's been such a stalwart in the middle so far through 3 weeks when they run that 11-on-11 period. He'd been running with the ones, I think all but maybe 2 practices. So on day 8, though, today, he was not there. Again, no explanation given. We don't get an opportunity to talk to Lane until Tuesday. So we'll see if Gerald is back out there on Saturday. So it was Dom McKinley and Malik Blockton who ran with the ones. And it was good to see Whit Weeks out at practice today. He was not participating. So the first couple of weeks he was out there, or the first week, I should say, he was out there just in a jersey observing, like standing by the linebackers but not doing anything. Then last week he was absent. We did not see Whit Weeks at all. Today I was going to watch the specialists, which are kind of on a far field. Well, Whit was behind them. I mean, if you were standing in the north end zone, he was 220 yards away. But I went sort of into the middle to watch the specialists, and I could see Whit working out at the far end. So just doing agility things, backpedaling, starting, stopping, working with the trainer. But it was nice to see him out there. Of course, Whit had the broken ankle he suffered against Ole Miss last year that he was sort of undiagnosed, and then after South Carolina, they figured it out. He only played in 8 games a season ago. So the onus on Whit is to get healthy for the opener. I mean, that's really all that's important for Whit Weeks there. So a few of the little housekeeping things there. Lamar Brown was at practice, sporting his new hairdo. If you're familiar, so Lamar, the big 5-star defensive end, he was watching the edge rushers again, kind of just watching him go through the drills. But Lamar had this he had long dreadlocks. Sometimes he would wear it an updo. I mean, it was a lot of hair. And on his social media, he posted a photo of like a piece of his dreadlock on the ground, kind kind of intimating he'd gotten a haircut, looked completely different today at practice. But it was good to see Lamar out there. I talked to Andy Martin, who's the head coach at U High, and Andy said Lamar's up to 295 and was working out in Dallas with some NFL guys last week, which is why he had some social media posts of him doing that. And he said he was getting fitted for his helmet, which is why he cut the hair. So just a few little notables there. As far as the quick six, the first team went out there and they actually ended up running 8 plays. I'll run through the play-by-play and I'll sort of tell you what my takeaways were. Before they even snapped the ball, there was an illegal procedure on the offense. Then on first down, they ran a handoff to Caden Durham. Malik Blockton stormed in there, tackle for no gain. It was he was lined up between Braylon Moore and Bo Bordelon. Moore took the other tackle, Dom McKinley. Bordelon kicked out and took Daughtery. And so there was just a gaping hole, and Blockton went right through it and made the play. So it was a miscommunication somewhere along the way with the offensive line, but a nice play by Blockton. The defense called a timeout, and then the next play was a pass to the deep right that was caught by Malik Elzy. I actually have this video up on my social media if you want to check it out. It was from Landon Clark. Not many people are going to get one over on DJ Pickett. He's been pretty awesome so far in spring. But Landon Clark raised up, looked right, threw a back shoulder ball, and Elzy came back to it. It was probably a good 25 yards downfield. So really nice pitch and catch there. That's one other notable is that Elzy is now running with the ones at receiver in place of Jace Brown. So your first receivers right now are Elzy, Winnie Watkins, and Jackson Harris, the Hawaii transfer. Those are the 3 that are running primarily with the ones. So after that, there was an incomplete pass, short left, intended for Trey'Dez Green. Was well defended. They ran a quarterback draw with Landon Clark, gained about 10 yards. Then they ran a zone read where Clark kept it to the right for a short gain. Ty Benefield came up from his safety spot and made the tackle. It was just a touch tackle, and you're down, whistle blow. On the 6th play, they went deep left, intended for Jackson Harris. It was a bit underthrown. They tried the back shoulder, sort of the comebacker, but it was really good coverage by P.J. Woodland. On the 7th play, they were lining up a 3rd and short, and they just threw a quick out route to Winnie Watkins on the right sideline, right at the sticks for a first down. It was actually really nice to see. 3rd and short, you need just a quick first down, a simple play, pitch and catch, execute it. They did. And then the last play, which posted this on social media as well. If you want to see it on my Twitter or my Instagram, it's there. Tamarcus Cooley picked off Landon Clark. So they were at the 25-yard line going in, and Clark threw a ball to the front left pylon. It was looking for Jackson Harris, who was covered by Woodland, who undercut Harris, but then Tamarcus Cooley came over from his safety spot and intercepted the ball. You can watch the video on my Twitter, my Instagram if you want to see it. But a great play by Cooley. Probably not a great read by Landon Clark, unless if that was the play call, just throw it up there. But in any event, it was a day where the offense made a couple of nice plays. The 10-yard scramble, the out route to Winnie Watkins, the deep ball to Malik Elzy. But similarly, there were some really good plays by the defense. Chris Marler went and watched the second team on their sequence. And there were a couple of sacks by the twos. There was a nice 18-yard gain to Roman Mothershed. He actually had 2 receptions in that period, a 9-yarder and an 18-yarder. And they threw a deep pass to him as well that was incomplete. Husan Longstreet overthrew Jace Brown on a seam route. Again, Brown now working with the twos. But Malachi Thomas had a reception as well. Harlem Berry had to carry a sweep for 6 yards. So all things considered, a day that was highlighted by some really big defensive plays, but a couple of nice offensive plays as well. Blake Baker continues sort of roaming around on the defensive side, and I did chart the second team's secondary, which seems like that's pretty locked in. The first team defense is settled, really, as we've seen it. So if it's the same thing we've seen every time out. But that second team defensive backfield, you got Jakeem Jackson, Michael Turner at corner, CJ Jim Coyley at star, and then Jace Thomas, Fahim Delane at safety. So Tigers will be back out on the practice field Saturday. Our media availability Saturday is supposed to be extended. So we're told from the time they let us in, we can watch the duration of practice. So I'm guessing Saturday we'll get to see some more team periods, and looking forward to that. So we'll have a report for you at LouisianaSports.net, Locked on LSU on Saturday, and of course when we're back here on Monday on AFR. So that is your practice report for day 8 of spring practice. First under Lane Kiffin. They're more than halfway home. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Make sure you check out our friends over at Bud Light at any of the great retailers where you can pick up Bud Light and grab the officially licensed aluminum bottles for the LSU Baseball National Championship. If you're going to be at the box or at Tiger Park or anywhere that you support the Tigers, make sure you have plenty of delicious ice cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. All right, Kendall Rogers will talk some baseball with us next on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Duplessis Pools. Of course, DuplessisBuilders.net is the website, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. That's where you'll find Derek Duplessis, Duplessis Pools, the great staff over there, and that's how you can go design your pool at the website. Say it often, but we buy everything online. Why not your pool as well? You can literally go to the website for Duplessis Pools. Hit the Pick Your Pool option right there on the homepage. There's 11 different designs. Pick all of your finishes that you want. Tiles, coping, colors, water features, lights, all of it. You can do all that online, set up financing, pay for it online. You get that whole process started right now at DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. I want to remind you, though, also, maybe you want a beautiful, gigantic, custom resort-style pool at your home, wherever it may be. They do that as well. They do it better than anyone, and they offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. It's DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
They have plenty of power. Like, a lot of their guys look like football players, and they impact it when they hit it. Sometimes when that's your approach, strikeouts come along with that. It's just, to me, it just comes down to how well we execute what we're trying to execute. And I feel like Kaysen's really coming along. I feel like Williams coming along. Gavin, Zach, Grant, a couple of the lefties, even some of the guys that pitched last night, that when they execute, they're tough to hit. And so there's probably some opportunity there, but you have to execute to take advantage of it.
Jay Johnson, for his team, headed out to Oxford, take on Ole Miss this weekend. Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Good enough to join us every Thursday, preview the weekend ahead. How are you, dude?
I'm doing awesome. It's always good to hear from Musso.
Yeah, how about that?
There we go.
So have we ditched Russo? Are we sticking with Musso?
We have. You know, I actually prepared myself. I had like a little sticky note on my computer screen that said, call him Musso this week.
Call him Musso. Actually, that can be the new Todd Peterson, is just calling him Russo. Oh, he wasn't ready.
Exactly.
He wasn't ready. See, got him.
Yeah.
All right, let's real quick, Kendall, before we dive into this weekend, LSU has a lot of really bad losses. As far as an RPI standpoint, I mean, Northeastern and Sac State and now Bethune-Cookman. To what degree might that affect LSU come selection Monday?
Yeah, I mean, right now they're in a rough shape. I mean, you're looking at a team right now with a 73 RPI. And, I mean, I don't want to say they're just totally out of it, because for all we know, they win a series at Ole Miss, they win a series at Mississippi State, they take a series from A&M, and then they're probably back in, you know, the 30s or the high 20s. So, and they still have to go to Georgia. So, I mean, even though there's a tough pathway, I mean, there is a pathway. It's just for LSU at a 73 RPI. I mean, you just have no room for error. Like, you're going to have to go on a roll the second half of the season to be able to host. So right now, long shot, is it totally gone? Not at all. It's the SEC, and, I mean, you can go up 30 spots one weekend in some instances, especially if you go to Georgia and Mississippi State and you win, you know, one or two of those series.
Well, they get Ole Miss. That's the task at hand. This is now a ranked-on-ranked matchup, albeit teams in the low 20s. Ole Miss has been a little tough to figure out. What do you think is maybe the most compelling storyline of this series?
Yeah, I think for me, first of all, you know, just the fact that anybody with the name LSU is going to Oxford in a big sport, I think is certainly a storyline. But, I mean, I think for me, can Taylor and Beatty kind of continue where he left off in Knoxville? And also, what does Ole Miss do from an offensive standpoint? What's kind of crazy about Ole Miss is, historically in the Mike Bianco era, when you think of Ole Miss, you think of, offensive lineups that you're just like, man, it is tough to get through these guys. It's premier power. But, if you look at Ole Miss's offense right now, Matt, it's 14th in the league. They're hitting 212 as a team in conference play. And you've got guys like Tristan Bissett and Austin Foley, two premier power hitters, hitting 233, 200. You've got three more guys in their everyday lineup that literally are playing every day with averages of 114, 150, 167. So, you have 60% of your lineup, 65% of your lineup that is hitting under, 230 right now in conference play. So I think for Ole Miss, and what would be a little scary to me if I'm Jay Johnson, is this team offensively has underachieved for about a month now. And it's just a matter of time before they have a weekend where they just all kind of blow out a little bit.
It'd be nice to see if it was this weekend. That ballpark is ripe for it. Similar dimensions to Tennessee. So
absolutely,
pop flies are always a threat to leave the yard. So what about how LSU offensively may match up against Ole Miss's starting pitching?
Yeah, I think the biggest way to beat Ole Miss is to kind of get in their bullpen. Hunter Elliott and Cade Townsend, they're really good. Elliott certainly kind of been through the battles, but Cade Townsend to me is one of the premier pitchers in college baseball. He was hurt for a few weeks, but I saw him in Houston at the Astro tournament several weeks ago, and he was 97, 98 with his fastball with really good secondary stuff. So I think once you get past kind of Taylor Robb out of the bullpen, I really feel like you can kind of get to Ole Miss a little bit. So I think for LSU, it's take some pitches, be patient, and see if you can get those pitch counts early, up there early, get in that bullpen, and I think that they could fare pretty well at the end of that, at the end of a couple of those games.
Hey, Kendall, if you told me when Arkansas and Alabama were playing that one of those teams would be ranked in the top 10, I would have believed you. I would not have thought it would have been Alabama, but that's where this is. We buying Alabama, or are we really concerned about Arkansas being what they are right now?
I'm not quite buying Alabama just yet. They have played well. I'm going to give Rob Vaughn credit. Like, they're winning series. They're doing it in not like crazy impressive fashion, but they're winning series. Tyler Fay has been an ace for them on Friday night. There's no doubt about that. It's been a no-hitter this year. And then offensively, what's kind of been impressive about them is, Brady Neal, the former LSU Tiger, has had some really big hits this year. And, they haven't even gotten Justin LeBron going. He's still hitting like 250, 260 in conference play. So you got to figure out, you got to figure he's going to kind of get rolling a little bit. And then Arkansas, I'm worried about them. Typically with a DVH team, I'm not really worried. I kind of feel like they're just going to figure it out a little bit like LSU at times. But when you look at Arkansas and take a peek behind the curtain a little bit, just like Ole Miss I just mentioned, it is like 6 hitters in their everyday lineup that are hitting under 200 in conference play. And, we're 4 weeks into the season? I'm not saying they can't break out, but, man, when you got that many guys in your everyday lineup hitting under 200 in league play, that is pretty problematic. So I think for me, I've got my eye on Arkansas's offense this weekend. They're going to have to score runs to beat Alabama, a red-hot Alabama team at that.
He's Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com, at Kendall Rogers. Give him a follow. And you want to talk about a really pivotal series, maybe the most intriguing is Tennessee-Mississippi State. At the halfway point, Kendall, Mississippi State could almost put Tennessee out of their misery, almost. But State got swept last week by Georgia and kind of feels like, all right, man, what do you do as a response here? Give me your thought on that series at the Dude this weekend.
Yeah, it is a big series for Tennessee. I feel like, I don't know about you watching that series, but I kind of told somebody this the other day that, like, Tennessee looks off to me. Maybe Tony Vitello kind of knew they were going to have a down year. But, they didn't look like the same program. Like, I didn't feel like the energy was there. I didn't feel like they seemed kind of hard-nosed like they typically have. And so I think for Tennessee, I really, and I don't want to get, like, overly dramatic, but I think this weekend is a lot about, like, what is their identity going to be under Josh Elander? Like, do they go on the road and play a really hard-nosed series, even if they come up just short? Do they look pretty good in doing it? So I don't like their chances this weekend. I think had Mississippi State not gotten swept by Georgia last weekend, I would have been like they got a chance. But, man, Mississippi State, they're really good. and they're going to be dialed in this weekend. So I think Tennessee's in a pretty problematic spot.
What do we make of Florida, Georgia this weekend? Georgia, so impressive sweeping Mississippi State, and Florida's done this Jekyll and Hyde thing all year so far.
Yeah, this is one where I'm like, I had no idea what to expect from Florida. Like Florida, Florida's like LSU to some degree, where it's like, you can have a team show up and lose the best equipment, or they're going to come out there and look like all-stars. The crazy thing about Florida that I just cannot figure out is they'll go dominate Florida State in midweek. But on the weekend, there's times they look like a little league team. So for me, I have faith in Aiden King in the weekend rotation. Liam Peters is going to have to give them a good start. But, can Brendan Lawson kind of get that offense going? I will say this. I'm pretty sold on Georgia at this point. I think Georgia's really good. I thought last weekend at State, they look like a hard-nosed team. Typically, Georgia, I feel like, is kind of faux hard-nosed. Like, they act like they're tough, but they're not. I think this team's tough, man. I think this team's got it. They've got that moxie. And so Florida's going to have to play really well. So, in essence, I think I know what I'm going to see from Georgia. The question is, we know Florida's supremely talented, but do they show up? It's basically a coin flip.
I'd like to congratulate South Carolina or Missouri. One of them has got to win a weekend this weekend, so that's going to be great.
Hey,
for
Missouri
them.
did win a weekend last week at Kentucky.
Noted. Well done. But let's not talk about that because nobody cares.
Respect on that name, as the
I
kids
will
would
not
say.
do that. I will not put respect on their name. I will not. They don't even belong in the SEC. Get the hell out of here. Not you, them. Oklahoma Vanderbilt, I guess, would be the other one that's sort of intriguing this weekend. That one's up there in Nashville.
Yeah, if you look at Vandy and OU, I think for me this is a big weekend for Vandy. I thought they looked really good in the opening game against Texas A&M, and then the last 2 days their pitching was god awful. And so I think for me it's really about kind of how Oklahoma's offense, which you guys saw against LSU. They're not great, but what OU is really good at is being opportunistic offensively. And Vanderbilt's going to have to pitch. If Vanderbilt walks guys like they did against A&M, Oklahoma can kind of get going. But, yeah, I think I like OU on the road in that one. I just don't think Vanderbilt's that good.
It's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, at Kendall Rogers. Hey, before you go, I always ask, give me something outside of the SEC. What's a series we should be keeping an eye on?
Well, you neglected to mention Texas and Texas A&M.
I did neglect.
That's a pretty big series.
I did neglect to miss Texas and Texas A&M. Hold on.
It's only the biggest storyline of the weekend.
My bad. And I should have started there, and I'm embarrassed I didn't, because actually the note I had written down, because I saw your tweet about the ticket prices.
Yeah, I will say this. It is basically like, nothing will compare to the nuclear explosion that will be LSU going to Oxford in football. Do not think I'm comparing the two.
Yeah.
But if there is a comparison, like if there is a missile compared to a nuclear bomb, the missile would be Texas going to Texas A&M this weekend. I will tell you this, as someone who has plenty of A&M fans and Tigers living around me, I've got people that are LSU fans. I've got people, Aggies that don't even follow baseball that are like hitting me up going, hey, where can I get tickets? Like, I just want to be there to yell at this guy. So, just tomorrow's game, Friday night's game in College Station, when Jim kind of first walks out of the dugout, it's going to be about as good of an atmosphere as you could find in college baseball. It's going to be a blast.
Kendall, like A&M fans, they pride themselves on being so hospitable. The howdy and all that sort of stuff.
It will not be hospitable. As a matter of fact, a little birdie inside the Texas program told me that they're actually taking like 3 cops with them to the game tomorrow night.
Interesting.
How many cops will Lane Kiffin take with him to Oxford?
I'll tell you this much. I don't know the answer to that.
Louisiana State Patrol?
Yeah, I tell you this, Kendall. People have asked, so you going? Hell no. There is a 0% chance I'm in Oxford, Mississippi that weekend.
You know how bad it has to be from some good old boy from Morgan City to say he's not going into that Lions Den?
I'm not a good old boy from Morgan City. I am a
I know you aren't. I'm just saying.
I'm a very content, happily married father of one that would like to
You're
not.
You're a Catholic High guy. I know you're not.
Yes, I would like to find myself. I would not like to find myself in any unfortunate circumstances. I've even had good friends who are Ole Miss people say, "Oh, they'll come with us. It'll be fine."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, absolutely not. I will
it's like
watch.
the GIF that says it's a trap.
I will watch safely from my couch and hope that it goes very well for the LSU Tigers.
For
but
sure.
This will be an interesting weekend, no doubt, in College Station. Okay, Kendall, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Be good, man.
Yep.
See you.
Be well. I can't believe, that was the top note, and I started talking about LSU, and I started going down the list, and I totally forgot to circle back to this. No, but just the biggest story in college baseball so far this year. We're brought to you by Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana, and you know where to find them. Go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, it's not just tires. Yes, they're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, but whatever you got going on with your vehicle, maybe you start to feel some vibration with the tires whenever you're driving, bring that thing into Shawbill's. Maybe you need your tires rotated. Maybe you need a tire repair. Maybe you need an oil change. Shawbill's can help you out. Shawbill's Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires, schedule service. You can do it all at the website at ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbill's, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Live MMA coming back to L'Auberge this weekend. Trent Mahoney's going to be in studio with us in about 15 minutes from right now. Chase Parham next hour. We're not going to break, go around the SEC. And Will Wade perhaps staring down his first portal edition. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
Thinking about selling your home? The first thought that should enter your mind, think Darren James. Agent225.com, 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 most user-friendly website in real estate. Also tell you all the time about the home value tool. You want to sell your home? You need to know how much your home is worth? Easy. Go to agent225.com. Do this right now. Own a home, curious how much it's worth? Agent225.com uses local market data on their home value tool. So just go to the home value tool on the homepage of the website, type in your address, boom, it'll spit out using local market data the value of your home right now. It's the home value tool at agent225.com. Just another way that Darren James has made the home buying or home selling experience a great, stress-free customer service experience. What is normally one of the most stressful experiences people have moving, Darren simplifies it and gets results. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Thanks as always to Blazia and the great team over at Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle, like we often say, whatever it may be. Maybe you're like Paulie, you got a new baby at the house and you're having trouble sleeping. You need to catch up on some Z's. Their nurses can come in home, take care of your newborn while you all sleep. Maybe it's end-of-life care. It's hospice, in-home. Maybe it's post-operative care that you need. Maybe you're under the weather and you need IV hydration therapy. They can come to your home, to your office. Maybe you're on HRT and you need to give blood, therapeutic phlebotomy. They can do that as well, conveniently in your home, come to your office to save you time. It's not just healthcare, it's healthcare for your lifestyle. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. This note from On3 is they're kind of doing a wrap-up around the transfer portal right now. Keep an eye for LSU on PJ Haggerty. So Haggerty was the third leading scorer in college basketball this season at Kansas State, 23 points a game. Well, he's back in the transfer portal now, and according to On3, LSU is one of the teams to keep an eye on. So the backstory here is that Wade actually recruited Haggerty last year and signed him out of the portal to NC State. Well, NC State later landed Darian Williams, and so then Haggerty went back in the portal, ultimately picked Kansas State, and he averaged 23 points a game there this year. So we know Wade has got to rebuild this LSU roster in year one, and they're clearly in the mix here for Haggerty, who's instant offense. I'll be transferring from Kansas State, and LSU is one of the schools to watch. So Tigers looking for that first commit to pop. I'll remind you, it's worth being patient. During the January portal window for football, the portal opened on Jan 2, and everyone's like, "Where's all the commitments? Where's all the commitments?" Well, you had all the visits first, right? You had all the visits, and then after the visits, the commitments followed. So right now they're in that process, and sometimes you'll have the pre-existing relationship with the player, which might expedite some of this, like we saw with some of the Ole Miss guys, Uman Mielen, Daughtery, Winnie Watkins. And those were guys that had the pre-existing relationship with Will Wade. With Lane Kiffin. So now with Will Wade, it would stand to reason if some of those NC State guys are going in the portal, it would stand to reason that guys that he has a pre-existing relationship with might be even easier to land some of those commits. So as that continues to move along, we'll keep you posted. And you can always follow. We got the portal tracker up at louisianasports.net. So if you want to bookmark that page at louisianasports.net, it's the basketball transfer tracker. It'll let you know all the players that have entered the portal, players that are out of eligibility, and who LSU signed. So it's all there for free at louisianasports.net. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. We're brought to you by Supper Club. A great night Thursday. You want to get your weekend started early, get on by Supper Club. No matter what you eat at Supper Club, it's going to be the best version of that thing you've ever had. Some people say, Matt, I hear you talking about Supper Club, but I don't love steak. Okay. What about scallops? What about lamb lollipops? What about Chilean sea bass or a king salmon? All dynamite options. And it's going to be the best of that thing you've ever had. Alaskan king crab legs, stone crab. They got it all at Supper Club. The most important thing to remember is you're going to have the best version of whatever it is you're eating and the most fantastic dining experience you can imagine. It's Supper Club. Get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com. supperclubbtr.com. That's supperclubbtr.com. Or you can always just walk in. Remember, open seating at the bar with the 14 bar stools, the 7 bar tables. Pop on in any night to Supper Club. Well, except Sunday, Monday because they're closed. Tuesday to Saturday, make it a Supper Club night. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia's added a new piece to their scouting department. Miami of Ohio scouting director Lynn Davenport is joining Georgia as their director of college scouting. He's been in that role at Miami of Ohio since April of last year. So it kind of looks like the director of pro scouting, which you see in NFL organization. So really the college game just continues to look more and more like the NFL game. Davenport previously had been with the Buffalo Bills and also time at University of Cincinnati.
The Florida Gators.
5-star 2027 interior offensive lineman Maxwell Hiller has committed to Florida. 6'5", 300 pounds. He's out of Pennsylvania, chose the Gators over Ohio State, Tennessee, and Alabama. He's the headliner of the Florida class, one of the top-ranked recruits. He's the number 1 player in Pennsylvania, the number 4 overall player in the country.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas is losing a basketball assistant. Chuck Martin's on the move, headed to North Carolina for a spot on Michael Malone's first coaching staff there in Chapel Hill, a.k.a. Post Malone. He'd been with Calipari each of his last 3 seasons, joined the Razorbacks head coach in Kentucky prior to the 23-24 season, also coached with Cal at Memphis.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Guard Colin Chandler is entering the transfer portal. He's from Utah, led Kentucky with 73 made three-pointers. It was best among the SEC this past season. Chandler was Mark Pope's first recruit at Kentucky, following him from BYU.
The Texas Longhorns.
And Texas forward Nick Cody will enter the transfer portal. Matt Zenitz, Chris Hummer at CBS, first to have it. Appeared in 43 games with 4 starts for the Longhorns, and actually so emphatically stated his desire to return after the Sweet 16 loss to Purdue. He said, quote, "I'll be here next year." You know what we call that, Muse?
That's just a non-denial, yeah?
Oh, that's a denial.
Yeah, denial. Excuse me. Yeah, denial.
I'll be here next year. No, he ain't. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Thursday show is presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing, decisioncriticalbr.com. We're going to knock out a quick break. Chase Parham in about 45 minutes. Chase does an awesome job covering Ole Miss, all things Ole Miss, but one of the really, really good baseball writers in the Southeastern Conference. I know I mentioned it before, but I would put Hunt, Palmer, I'd put Chase Parham, David Cloninger, covers South Carolina. There's a lot of great ones. I don't mean to single that, but Chase is outstanding. A guy who is a true SEC baseball nerd and does a great job. And I affectionately call him an SEC baseball nerd. But Chase does a great job. So we'll get a good sort of thumbnail preview of the Ole Miss baseball Rebels coming up here in about 45 minutes. And Beth Torina is going to be with us in hour number 3. Excited to have Beth here. This weekend is the the Go Teal Walk, raising awareness for ovarian cancer research that they do every year. It's a massive weekend for the softball program, and quite honest, for anybody that's been touched by ovarian cancer or any kind of cancer. So it's a great opportunity to catch up with Beth. So we'll do that in hour number 3. All right, let me not got a break, y'all. Live MMA coming back to Baton Rouge with the Titan Combat Championship this weekend at L'Auberge. I'll be there. We're going to talk to Trent Mahoney in studio with us next at AFR.
After further review.
REV. Let's Rev. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com. Hey, if you're certainly when we talk about homeowners, Rev, your internet provider, cable, phone, security, home automation, they do all that. But we did this actually a few years ago here at Guarantee. We switched to Rev with another provider. And what was eye-opening is you're going through budgets. And so if you're a business owner, I want you to think about this. Like in your business, how many cable boxes do you have in your business? How much are you spending for internet? How much are you spending for security or automation within your business? Like how much are you spending on that every month? You want to talk about hidden costs like sunken into your business? What if Rev could save you money every month in perpetuity and give you better service, a better product, and a local company? Man, it's worth a call over to Rev. So look up online there at Let'sRev.com. REV, Let'sRev.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Man, I'm pretty fired up about this. Saturday night, I'll be at L'Auberge. Titan Combat number 6 is going down. Some great sponsors, Raising Cane's, Relief Window, some of our great partners are partnered with this event as well. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Our buddy Casey McKenzie's done an awesome job. You'll know I'm a big MMA fan. And, sometimes local promotions can be sort of hit or miss with the quality of the fights, the quality of the promotion. When I went last spring, blown away by the quality of the promotion at L'Auberge. It was packed. If you're looking for something to do Saturday, get on out. Co-main event, we're going to see Clarence Brown and Trent Mahoney. Trent is in studio with us right now. How are you, man?
Great, man. Great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. You're so it's Thursday. We're a little more than 48 hours out from the fight. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Weight's getting down. Healthy. Just super excited. It's hard to sleep.
Give me a little bit of your backstory, man. For people who it's a huge part of this sport. People love to know where people are from, who they're cheering for, all the backstory. So give me your bio.
From here in Baton Rouge, I went to East Ascension High School as my dad is the wrestling coach there. So I grew up, he took that job in 2003. I was born in 2001. So I grew up always seeing him as EA's coach. And then when the opportunity came, I wanted to go to East Ascension. So I went to East Ascension all 4 years. I won 3 state titles there in wrestling, Division I. First one was at 132, jumped up to 152. And then my senior year, I was 170. So I jumped up a bunch.
You won in 3 different weight classes.
Yes, sir. And then when I decided to go to college, I picked a Division II school in Tennessee called King University. Did 5 years there.
You wrestled in college?
Yes, sir. I did an undergraduate in economics, and I got an MBA. And I was an All-American, NCAA Division II All-American there. And I actually just moved back from Pennsylvania yesterday, where I did another master's at Albright College in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is outside Philadelphia. I just pulled up to practice yesterday in a trailer, all my stuff, went to practice, unloaded my trailer after practice. So I'm back in Baton Rouge for good for now. But, wrestling has taken me a long way.
So this is your first pro MMA fight?
Yes, sir. Pro debut this Saturday.
Man, so you're fighting Clarence Brown. Like, I don't know anything about Clarence Brown, but what I do know is if he's getting in the cage with a Division II All-American wrestler, that dude's in trouble.
Listen, you got to respect every opponent. I think this guy has a lot of fights. I don't think his record's that good, but dude, everybody has a puncher's chance. It's
a great thing about the sport.
Yep, you go bite down on your mouthpiece and swing, and you could clip anybody.
That's true. But, man, I would argue that, and I'm a big MMA fan, that having a wrestling base and look, you can do jits and you can have Muay Thai, and there are so many great disciplines. If you have an elite wrestling base, you are hell to handle because you can control another person. Like, has that been your experience?
Yes, sir. So far it has. And I've been in the highest level gyms. Daniel Cormier's actually like my uncle. I call him Uncle Dan.
Let's go.
I go to California and train with them. And I'm a wrestler, and he has like these Russians that train for him. And, dude, they'll take me down, and you can't move. And so it's kind of it blows your ego when you're the wrestler and then you get out wrestled.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could control the fight, I could. If I want to be on my feet, I can stay on my feet. If I want to take it to the ground, you could use wrestling to take it to the ground. But if you look at all the UFC champs right now, most of them are grapplers. So it just kind of shows you that you have great hands, but it's kind of hard to punch somebody when you're on your back and they're laying on top of you.
How Trent Mahoney's in studio with us. Co-main event Saturday, Titan Combat Championship 6 at LeBerge. You still get tickets or show up. It's going to be awesome. One of the interesting things also about some of the local promotions is a lot of times you fight guys you just don't know. Like there isn't video or film to like study your opponent. So like, do you know anything about your opponent? And then how do you prepare for a fight?
There's film. I've watched some film on them. We got a good game plan. Nowadays with social media and most everything's getting streamed now. It's out there now. It's not how it used to be back in the day, especially with regional MMA. But there's been some wild times where, like I told you earlier, my first fight, my guy didn't even show up to weigh-ins, and then there was a guy who was 2 weight classes above me. His guy didn't show up to weigh-ins, and I was like, I'll go up and fight him because you sell tickets, you want an opponent. All these people didn't show up for no reason. So I fought a guy who was like 200 pounds, and I was 170.
Yeah.
So, regional MMA is crazy sometimes, but with Titan, man, they run it tight. They, Layla and Casey, everything's really strict, organized. Everybody knows what's going on, and that's not the same with every promotion. But you can see Titans new, and they're already dominating in Louisiana.
Love to see it, man. So why you've got finance degrees and double majors and masters? Why are you using your head as a punching bag?
I don't know. My mom would agree with me.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay.
So I just finished 6 years of college wrestling. I got 3 degrees while wrestling. Man, I just can't sit still. I've had 2 different internships. I did an accounting internship, and then I did a marketing internship. And when I sit down behind a computer and keyboard, I don't know. I can't sit still. So I love coaching wrestling. I love helping the youth learn how to wrestle and build their skills. And I love fighting, man. I can't sit still. That's why.
What you may not even know this. You know what time you're going to be fighting?
First fight starts at 7:15. There's about 14 fights on the card, and 15-minute fights. Probably going to be around 10 p.m. But like I said, the card starts at 7:15 on the last fight main event. It's going to be around 9:30, 10 o'clock.
And it's going to be a catch weight. So, and to explain this, basically, you have fighters from different weight classes. Basically, you're going up and he's coming down.
Right. So my original opponent was scheduled for 155 lightweight, and then he pulled out, and we already had Clarence Brown slated as the backup just in case something like that happened. And I think he's a 170 pounder. So we kind of met in the middle, 155, 170. We agreed to fight at 165. So that's why it's called catchweight, because there's only 8 weight classes. So we're fighting out of a weight class.
So you're gonna fight at 65. You're weighing about 170 right now.
Yes, sir. I'm like 172 right now. So I got 7 pounds to lose by Friday.
What you gonna do?
Tonight we're hitting the treadmill with a sauna suit.
Yeah.
And then we'll do some sauning, and then tomorrow we'll wake up. I'll probably be 2 pounds over tomorrow. Hit the treadmill again. Probably won't need the sauna for that. And then we'll get to weigh-ins, make weight, and then hydrate. Feel good.
So when you walk in the cage, by the way, for a wrestler, losing 7 pounds in 24 hours ain't gonna be nothing. But what do you think you'll weigh when you walk in the cage?
I'll probably be 175.
Okay.
Be a 10-pound gain.
You feel healthy and strong?
Oh yeah, hydrated, eat clean, and you're just chilling the whole day Saturday. And like I said, I won't be fighting until 9:30, 10 o'clock. So
yeah.
I'll just be kicking back, relaxing, probably taking a nap somewhere in there, and then, man, excited. I'm already feeling it.
Hey, man, an EA kid from Gonzales. Tell you what, the local product, people could be rooting for you, man. It's Titan Combat Championship 6. It's at LaBerge. It's Saturday. Brought to you by Relief Windows, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Canes as well in the mix. I'm looking forward to being there, man. Last spring, I know a bunch of the LSU football coaches last spring showed up, and I don't know who's, but you always get
good. Yeah, they had everybody. They had Campbell there, Will Campbell. That was cool seeing him.
Yeah,
there.
Man.
So they had a bunch of big names there.
It's gonna be a show, man. Wish you good luck, good health, and go dominate on Saturday, man. We're looking forward to seeing it.
Appreciate it.
You got it, man. That's Trent Mahoney. He'll be fighting Saturday in Titan Combat 6 out at LaBerge. Y'all get on out and see it. All right, it's after further review. Now I got a quick break. Sports Center will kick off hour number 2 next.
After further review.
We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Hey, look, everybody, the average car buyer now visits 1.2 dealerships before making a purchase. You know that. I remember when I got my car, we spent a Saturday, me and my dad, like going to 8 different dealerships, test driving, haggling. Nobody does it anymore. So go to the website. Go to southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You could search their entire inventory. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. Super easy, southpointvw.com. You can see all the dealer specials. You can see all the inventory. Right now, if you shop by vehicle, there's 181 vehicles on the lot right now. You can see right there on the homepage. You got questions, you could do it. Work out your financing, you could do it right there. If they don't have what you want with the exact specifications, they'll find it for you. They'll get it here. It's South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?